say something that will shock you.
And can you not do this? It's rude.
Is it rude for you? What about when you pointed at me?
How long have I been pointing like this?
You pointed at me earlier.
I've been holding my camera like this.
Anyway, what I'm saying is this.
Is education important?
I won't answer that question. But what I'm saying, let me say this. If I was, you know why I don't believe.
He's an atheist, and education, whether it's important or not, he doesn't want to answer.
No, listen. You know why I don't believe in God? Because God is too weak. You understand?
What is God? What is God to you?
No, God is an invention.
Which God do you not believe in? Maybe I agree with you. The God that you don't believe in, I don't believe in that God too.
No.
I don't believe in a weak God, so I agree with you. I don't believe in a weak God.
God is too weak for my liking.
Which God? Which God are you talking about?
What is God?
Allah.
No, what?
Allah, yeah?
Too weak for my...
What is it?
Let me tell you.
Can I?
Allah is God in Arabic. Allah is God. Let me tell you.
What are the characteristics of Allah described in the Quran?
No, wait, let me tell you something. If I were to believe in God, God must be powerful. I'm talking for myself.
Mr. Special, yeah, go on.
Yeah. If I was to believe
Who gave you life?
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that.
What I'm saying is this. I don't see God doing anything to anyone.
Yeah. God hasn't given him a good balance in the bank account. That's why he doesn't believe in God, isn't it? God hasn't given him a good wife or a girlfriend. That's why he doesn't believe in God.
You guys want me to talk, I'm talking.
No, I'll ask you.
If you want me to talk,
I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question. Why you're an atheist?
Many people are fake believers. They say they believe, but they don't believe nothing.
Forget about those many people. So let us ask you.
If I believed in God, right? If I believed in God, then I will do whatever God says. You understand? I said I grew up a Christian, but I realized most people are fake believers. Believing in God doesn't change their behavior.
Which people?
People who believe in God.
Which people? There's a lot of believers in different gods.
Like you.
So, brother, the problem. One second, brother.
Wait.
Do you see the problem? Instead of dealing with the question at hand, he's talking about. He's actually calling this straw manning. Oh, that believer and this believer.
Whatever I say.
Talk to me.
Whenever I say something, you cannot handle the truth.
Can you?
You are a weak man.
Can you? Brother, can you show some patience? Can you show some patience?
Listen.
Thank you. This brother, inshallah, God willing, we will show some patience.
Listen.
Now, why are you an atheist?
I'm an atheist because God is very weak.
And what do you mean by God?
Well, God doesn't exist.
What do you mean by God that doesn't exist?
That creator of heaven and earth doesn't exist.
So
it's a fantasy.
So
it's an idea.
Let's understand something.
It's an idea.
So why does something exist rather than nothing?
I don't understand what you mean.
You do understand what I mean?
No,
something exists today, and we need to have an explanation. Why does something exist rather than nothing? Remember, you don't believe in the creator of the heavens and the earth, so I'm going to ask you this question.
Even that statement, heavens and earth.
Why do the universe exist?
Because there's nothing like heaven and earth.
Why do the universe exist rather than nothing?
There's a planetary system, there's a Milky Way, there's a galaxy.
Why don't you speak to me?
Earth is just
why don't you speak to me?
In a galaxy of planets. So that's
why do universe exist rather than nothing in existence?
Well, I've said it 1,000 times.
No, if you and the answer is? A rational, reasonable answer is?
No, the thing is this. You are here to score points. You want to...
No, you're flapping.
I'm not flapping.
You said you're going to show some patience.
How many times...
And the reasonable answer is?
No.
Why does the universe exist rather than total non-existence?
Okay.
Nothing. Why?
No, but the thing is this. Okay, honestly, will he explain why the universe exists?
You don't believe in God, so I'm asking you that question.
No, why are you asking me?
Because you don't believe in God.
So, because I don't believe in God, I have to explain the universe?
Yes. Let me tell you why.
Exactly.
Let me tell you why.
That's my point. Because you guys don't understand the evidence, the universe, you believe in God. That proves my case.
Brother. I know. That's the diversion tactic. Learn that this is the diversion tactic running away from rational inquiry. Right.
God is used to fill in the gaps.
Listen.
Everybody that believes
according to science,
explain what they don't know and what they don't understand.
Are you talking?
Everything is God, this, God, that.
Brother. Subhanallah, where is the patience that you're going to demonstrate to us?
He doesn't have patience, but he's demanding patience from you. He doesn't
I'm
have
telling
to-
you, I'm telling you. No, don't repeat. That's what I'm saying. So that he doesn't get away from the hook. So now, according to our scientific methodology, we see existence of matter and space.
But that doesn't explain the existence of God.
I haven't finished my question yet. Listen. Why is there matter and space in existence?
Who knows?
So that is your reasonable answer?
I am man enough to say I don't know.
What if I told you I
But
know?
this guy, I can tell you, he will say
No,
God created all those
what if I told you?
That's such an easy answer.
Do you want to know?
Yes, from you, yes.
Okay, so how would you know the answer is correct or not? What robust criteria have you set up to ascertain and understand and assess the evidence that I'm going to give you?
First of all, you talk too much. Ascertain, robust, this. Just explain the thing. What's all the...
Okay, let me tell you in simple words then, because you understand simple language?
Yes, simple.
Right. If I were to tell you why something exists, how would you understand that what I'm saying is correct?
If it makes sense.
Makes sense. Good. So how do you determine what makes sense or not? What criteria do you use?
As long as it's not bullshit, it'll make sense.
No, what is bullshit and what is not? How do you determine something is and something isn't making sense?
Okay, let me tell you.
Criteria.
Let me tell you. What I hate in people is when they say it is written in the Quran.
Who's talking about other people?
No.
Talk to me.
I'm answering your question. You see, you can't even do.
So why go and talk about other
This
people?
is so fragile. You ask me a question and I'm answering, and they get offended when you answer the question. I don't want
So
to talk to this
his
man. I don't want
evidence,
to talk to
his
him.
evidence is the other people. What other people say
No,
in their
listen,
weaknesses.
Listen.
Exactly.
Listen.
So come on this side.
Listen.
Come on this side.
Listen.
Come. Yeah, that's it. So now talk to me. Go ahead.
No. What I'm saying
Be a man enough and talk man to man. Go ahead. Go on.
No. What I'm saying is this. What was the question again?
Okay, I'll tell you again. How do you differentiate between what makes sense and what doesn't? Don't just tell me, because it's BS. I need to know a criteria that one can use, every single one of us, to say that yes, it seems reasonable. How do you understand and differentiate between what is sensible and what is not sensible?
Okay. Common sense, yeah. Well, let me answer this question how I have answered this question 1,000 times when people like you ask me that question.
People like me and people.
Yes,
So
people like
there's
you.
an element of already some kind of judgmental value
Why
already.
do you feel I'm being judgmental?
People like you. That's what I said. People like you. People like you. Stereotyping, isn't it?
No. When I say people like you, I mean believers like you. You are a believer, are you not? Are you not a believer?
I'm a Noah.
You're a believer, not a knower.
I'm telling you, I know God exists.
Exactly. You believe in the Holy Quran. And what happens is whenever I meet people like you, I don't know why you're offended like that, by that statement.
So he's answering the question about how he assesses between what makes sense and what doesn't.
You
Go
asked
ahead.
me,
Go ahead.
and I answer the question.
Go ahead.
I won't answer it the way you want me to answer. I answer the way I answer.
Sensibly?
Exactly.
Okay.
And
Let's
the thing
see.
is this, I've answered that question 1,000 times from people like you. And they always say to me the same thing. It is written in the Quran. And I say, the Quran doesn't mean anything to me.
What was my question I asked?
I'm getting there.
So
But
get there.
I want to offend
we don't want any kind of waffling beforehand. I asked a simple question. How do we differentiate between what makes sensible, what makes sense, and what doesn't? Because if I were to give you an answer, because I asked you a question, why does something exist rather than nothing? Why does the universe exist rather than absolute nothingness? You said, who knows? I said, what if I tell you I know? Then how would you be able to understand and accept my answer being correct and true? You need to be able to differentiate whether my answer is sensible, relevant, appropriate, and acceptable.
Okay, give me your answer. If it makes sense. If it makes sense.
How would you differentiate my answer is appropriate, relevant, and
I haven't
acceptable?
heard your answer.
What criteria are you going to use to make sure my answer is correct?
My critical thinking.
Critical thinking. What does critical thinking involve?
This guy will go on forever.
No.
Say something,
Wait.
say something else.
What does critical thinking involve?
Tomorrow morning, when I say something, he'll pick a word out of what I said. And that's what you've been doing all day.
What does critical thinking involve?
That's why you ask her about your education.
Brother, what does critical thinking involve?
No, the funny thing is this.
No, what does critical thinking
You're
involve?
supposed to answer my question.
Oh no, he's not going to answer it, is he?
Why should I answer each time I say something? Okay.
You said critical thinking. We want to know what critical thinking is. brother. Just me. I'll protect you. I'll guard you. So now, what is critical thinking?
Okay, I guarantee you now, once I start to define critical thinking, he will pick a word in critical thinking and say, what is this? I will go on forever.
Let's see. Go ahead.
You understand?
Go ahead. What is critical thinking? No, that's fine. What is critical thinking?
Okay. Sorry for laughing, but you know.
No, the thing is this. I'm tired.
Just take the shahada, man.
I'm tired. Because this guy is just, this. I thought I was a wind-up artist, but this guy is better than me.
So you winded us up?
No.
Have I said anything that is unreasonable?
This guy is a wind-up artist. You are. Every time I say something,
Ask the people.
I'm asking you.
Have I said anything that is unreasonable? You get beaten up left, right, and center.
By who? Beaten up by who? Who are you? Beating me up? Who?
You don't understand even the language and physiology and
beating me up.
idioms.
No, intellectually.
Never. Not me. Do you know who I am?
Mr. Flapper.
Right.
I'm an atheist. And
If I tell you why something exists rather than nothing, is something that we can understand by looking at what something is. Because if something exists now, if something exists today, there cannot be a time in the distant past where there was absolute nothingness, because absolute nothingness has no energy, no potential, no quanta, no fluctuation, no hadrons, leptons and gluons. I'm sure you know some of these things if you you're good, very good. So because of absence of everything means something that exists today could not come from nothingness. That means there has to be always something. Something has to exist always. Now here we have to now understand what that is then. If something exists always, there is no beginning of that something.
Correct,
That means that something that made our universe is self-aware, possessor of energy.
No.
Let me finish. Possessor of energy and will and knowledge. Because if that something that existed always didn't will and bring this universe through his power into existence, it will never happen. Just give you an example. Imagine you want to make tea at home, right? Tea. If you don't will to make tea, your teacup, your water, the milk and the tea and the sugar, they're not going to assemble by themselves, would they? They will remain in their places. When you will to happen, you open your fridge, bring the milk out. You turn the knob of your cooker, the heater goes on, it ignites, and now you have fire. Put the kettle on, but before that, get some water from the sink, turn the tap, the water comes in. All of this assembly is required before tea is made. This universe, which is so organized in its incredible precision, harmony, and complexity, tells us that there is someone who has assembled all of this by will and by knowledge and by power. This evidentially then is a proof that there is a creator of our universe who is always there, and this creator by necessity have to be absolute, because no one brought this creator into existence. No one gave power to this creator, because the creator, this thing that existed always was in existence. That is why, my friend, why we see something here is because of a necessary being creator who have brought this into existence.
There's no space.
Let's clap for this young man, because he has...
Yeah, he needs a clap. He needs a clap.
But
the guy is right.
What this guy, this is what you call philosophical fantasy. The guy, first of all,
Yeah, it's okay.
Let's say me, I am, as I keep on saying, I'm an atheist, right? And I don't bother with what I don't know. It doesn't keep me up at night. I don't waste time. I'm not afraid of death or afterlife or all that bullshit.
Are you sure about that?
I am not.
What happens when you die? The worms comes and eats you?
You see, I said I am not bothered. I'm not.
So what happens?
And he now asked me what happens.
Exactly.
I don't give a. I don't care what happens. I just told you I don't care.
And your heart is content with that?
You have to care.
Is your heart content when you don't even know what happens to you after death? You don't even know. Is your heart content?
Sorry?
Do you feel peace and tranquility in your heart?
The difference between me and you. The difference between me and you are worried about what happens to you after you die.
Yeah, of course.
I don't care about what happens to me. I'll be dead.
So what? Everything's black?
Oh, you're already dead now. No, but it's true.
No. You see, the thing is this. I tell you.
Spiritually dead.
No. I don't believe in spirits. I keep on saying it all the time. I don't care what happens to me when I die. But you can't accept what I said.
Do you accept now why something exists rather than nothing?
No, forget that. That question is too philosophical.
Anyway, I think this is the end of conversation. We've given enough
for you.
We have given you enough information to come to the conclusion that atheism is irrational. Atheism is irrational. We have just given you a demonstration why atheism is not a rational belief.
All living things die. And once you die,
take care, my friend.
It's over. That's why you have children to replace you. You understand?
You're preaching.
But believers, there's something about death that scares the shit out of them. That's why they can't accept it. They say, oh, when you die, you go to heaven.
Oh, this is mine. This is mine.
Oh, is this too?
Thank you.
You guys, when you record, don't want to keep it there to end the recordings.
Repeat it, bro.
This is your one. You guys need to be around the camera. No one is even there to end the recordings. I have to end all the recordings and put your mics away. Did you find your mic?
Listen, end the conversation seriously. End the conversation. You believe I don't know to one people up, and then you should have kind of gone sober way up. When you explain why there has to be this reveal, which we
The idea of everybody assumes there's a God. That's why when I talk about I don't believe in God, that's why I think this out of them.
ask this question, why don't you choose Muslim is someone who believes